Folks, do you remember this clip? The clip heard around the world. The clip that will be following Angel Reese for the rest of her career. As long as her games don't sell out, as long as her games don't attract a good number of celebrities, as long as her games don't have any type of viewership motion, for lack of better terms, as long as all those three facts remain the same, this clip is going to follow her forever.
Have you ever noticed how the most forceful assertions frequently falter when the mildest inquiries are made request that someone provide concrete evidence to support their audacious assertions? Angel Reese was recently questioned by a Chicago Sky reporter over her audacious declaration from the previous season. Her two-word remark went viral for all the wrong reasons, and people follow women's basketball because of me as well. I will soon disclose that awkward situation. The stats tell the true tale. Is Reese truly the attraction, or has she long been penning Caitlin Clark's coattails? We'll examine this amusing instance of foot and mouth syndrome to serve as a warning about writing checks that you are unable to cash. Let's go if you're on Clark's side, and leave a comment below that says, baby goat over baby giraffe.
It's been so long since I've seen this clip, I forgot how arrogant Angel Reese sounded. I forgot how full of herself Angel Reese sounded. I forgot not only how nasty she sounded, the nasty facial expressions coinciding with her answer. You can see it clear as day. It's written on her face. She's disgusted that she's not getting the credit that she deserves.
Angel Reese once said, "People watch women's basketball because of me too." You may recall that. I suppose Angel Reese was the intended recipient of that audacious declaration from the previous year's WNBA season. Reality is coming, which just smashed into reality in spectacular manner.
Sorry, young lady. Nobody knows who you are. Nobody would be watching the WNBA additionally for you. This is all about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is bringing the money to the game, the planes to the game, the TV viewership. The WNBA is on fire because of Caitlin Clark.
Repositioned herself as a viewer attraction in addition to being a fantastic player during the height of her battle with Caitlin Clark. Reese didn't avoid the limelight following LSU's triumph over Iowa a few years back. She accepted it, claimed it, and basically told everyone that she shared equal responsibility with Clark for the record-breaking viewership. The story she wrote was blatantly obvious. Both were equally necessary for women's basketball.
So Angel Reese was asked about this exact statement, and she decided to duck it.
Now fast forward to the Chicago Sky's latest news conference to announce the 2025 campaign. Regarding that well-known statement, a reporter asked Reese directly if she still thought that she was the reason why people were watching women's basketball.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next
getting
question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you. Move on to Zoom.
She responded with two awkward words that were quite telling. The following query, the uneasiness permeated the entire room. There was no justification, no argument, no data to support her prior arrogance, just a quick sidestep that disclosed more than any response could have.
Now, keep in mind, whoever asked this, and there's people clowning the person that asked this, it was her statement going during the basketball season from last year, and the person's asking for her current feelings on said statement, her own statement. She pulled a next question. She ducked that. She duck goose that right out of existence.
Not only was this time awkward, it was also illuminating. Reese was unable to provide concrete proof to support her statements when they were put in front of her. Furthermore, why would she even try? The story she attempted to sell us last year is entirely contradicted by the numbers. Let's examine the figures. The Chicago Sky only had an average of 8,000 supporters per game at home last year. The Fever in Indiana at Gainbridge Fieldhouse, which can accommodate nearly 17,000 spectators per game. Every game was sold out.
She talked about sold-out arenas. What arenas are selling out that Caitlin Clark isn't playing in? I need to know. I need to know. But the Las Vegas No, the Las Vegas Aces sell out their season tickets. Tell me somebody who's selling out every damn place they go that's not named Caitlin Clark. Tell me somebody who's attracting celebrities, numerous celebrities everywhere they go, not named Caitlin.
Let's fast forward to this year. Consider Reese's preseason homecoming game against LSU, which could garner a lot of support. This is where she won a championship and established her brand while in college. As a result, just 6,000 supporters attended the Pete Maravich Assembly Center, a venue with a capacity of approximately 13,000 people. Not barely half full for their champion's comeback, that isn't precisely a glowing endorsement of her celebrity.
Her statements from last year, that's from a circus. That was a clown show statement to have made about watching for us and blah, 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 blah.
When you include her previous preseason games, it becomes worse. Only 4,600 people showed up for the Chicago Sky's home game against the Minnesota Lynx. Consider that 5,000 seats couldn't even be filled at her own WNBA home floor. Just 7,600 people attended another game versus the Lynx, this time in Minnesota. To be honest, the majority of those supporters came to watch the Lynx, the home team. These are the attendance numbers for any ordinary WNBA game, not the numbers of someone spearheading a basketball revolution.
We're going to find out very quickly who amongst the Chicago Sky fans are really and truly basketball fans, or are they Angel Reese, the content creator fans? Because, and you got some of those folks obviously tuning in for basketball, but is it because of Angel Reese or for the best interest of the Chicago Sky team and you want to see them win ball games?
There is no more obvious pattern. Ree's mother attempted damage control on social media following the LSU game posting, and the stands tell the tale that Ree doesn't want to confront it game after game.
Angel Reese's mom taking to X to tweet this after all of the hullabaloo about Caitlin Clark and the high ratings. She says, that certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance, while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. Different year, same haters. Have a great day. Well, all right. It is a different year, and it is the same haters, but I think you're calling yourself out, Mama Reese.
The defensive tone says a lot. Attack those who point out facts when you can't win with them. Not only was Reese avoiding an awkward reporter in the subsequent inquiry, but she was also avoiding facing the painful reality of her true effect on attendance. She made a claim that she is unable to support, and the receipts are now due. The numbers are self-evident proof that something doesn't add up and don't need to be interpreted or spun. And believe me, when we contrast these attendance numbers with what's going on with Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever, they will appear even more embarrassing. The unpleasant reality that Reese is unwilling to face is revealed by the attendance figures for her games. There is a huge difference between talking about being a draw and really being one.
And said next question, so she doesn't want to take responsibility for her own words.
Reese sidesteps inquiries about her influence, but Caitlin Clark doesn't have to speak. For anyone who attempted to compare themselves to her, the stats portray an almost embarrassing image.
Angel Reese voluntarily went on a, quote, they're watching for me too, and I want y'all to realize that rant, because she wanted that attention. She created the drama, asking her about her comment as we enter a new season is perfectly normal and not stirring things up. Absolutely.
Recall Clark's Carver Hawkeye Arena homecoming game. The whole location within 45 minutes, 15,000 seats were sold out. You can't watch a single quarter of basketball that quickly. Who could blame them? People weren't merely purchasing tickets. They were rushing to grab them as if their lives depended on it. This was a phenomenon rather than merely another basketball match.
It's Caitlin Clark Mania, and here we go again. 1.3 million people tuned in on Sunday afternoon to see Caitlin Clark return to Iowa as a professional and start raining in three-pointers from ridiculous distances.
Reese's supporters will contend that her following is restricted to Iowa and Indiana. Let's examine the receipts. Then, not even in the top 10, Clark's jersey became the second best-selling basketball jersey in 2024, only surpassed by the legendary Steph Curry and Reese. Clark is the only WNBA player there. Consider that Caitlin is selling more merchandise than NBA veterans with multiple titles, such as LeBron James, and that analysts predict she will finish her sophomore season with the second highest WNBA jersey sales ever. These aren't just impressive numbers, though, they're records.
What about viewership? Tell me everybody who's getting consistently over 1 million views on their basketball games, not named Caitlin. Oh, okay. And then Angel Reese goes into, I'll be happy to play the villain role. I'll be happy to play the villain, but don't be mean to me. Don't be mean to me. But I'll be happy to play the villain role.
Do you want to see the contrast become even more pronounced? Examine the cost of the tickets. Games in the preseason, yes. Tickets for preseason games with Clark typically cost over $600. It's not a typo. More than $600 to see a basketball exhibition. Some NBA clubs would be envious of those numbers. Actually, that average is the highest ever noted for a basketball game at any level, including collegiate games for men and women. Clark destroyed records, not simply broke them.
Angel Reese, why are we next? This guy set you up perfectly to give an answer of you being full of yourself. I'm so glad you asked that. They are only watching because of me too. They only know that other girl because of me too. They only go to her games instead of my games because of me too. They only watch all of her games instead of watching all of my games because of me too. She's the #1 jersey seller in the WNBA. Why? Because of me too. That's why. Time Magazine Sports, because of me. Everything Caitlin Clark has is because of me. Angel, you could have done that.
The effect goes beyond merely filling spaces. In order to meet demand, teams playing the Fever are actually relocating their home games to bigger NBA facilities. Reese and every other player in the league's history have never experienced this. And then there's the influx of stuff. Since the Indiana Fever's Now You Know campaign, which is focused on Clark, sales of every product category have skyrocketed. They even made a t-shirt that says, "Every game is a home game," in the style of a tour. A reference to the fact that Clark attracts people wherever she goes. The marketing doesn't hide what's going on. Everyone understands why the Fever are now a must-watch franchise.
I saw this thread on Twitter. I was shocked by it. I was pleasantly shocked and surprised. I thought it was so cool and so savage.
Possibly the most illuminating proof of all this season, 41 of the Fever's 44 games, or 93% of their schedule, will be broadcast nationally. For comparison, the Los Angeles Lakers had 39 games broadcast on national television, which is more coverage than this. Something remarkable occurs when a WNBA team receives more national television exposure than one of the NBA's main teams. Not because TV execs are Clark fans, but rather because audiences pay attention when she performs. This unprecedented amount of coverage is taking place. It's that simple. Networks follow revenue, and revenue follows viewership. The WNBA is also aware of it. For this reason, Clark appears prominently in their most recent ad. They are relying on what is effective.
Of course, we have the Indiana Fever being that premier team in the WNBA. They are the team that has the most fans. Like they said, every away game turns into a home game. Like, they know that they have that fan base.
One indisputable fact is supported by the narrative provided by attendance figures, merchandise sales, and television attention. The WNBA's recent spike in popularity is primarily due to Caitlin Clark. In addition to being a fantastic player, she is revolutionizing the financial aspects of a whole professional sports league. There is no greater startling contrast. When pressed to support her big claims about her impact, one player ducks. The other subtly changes the league as a whole with quantifiable, unquestionable outcomes. One stays away from inquiries, the other responds to critics with record-breaking statistics and stadia that are sold out. Opinions are no longer relevant here. It doesn't matter who you prefer or who performs better. It concerns concrete, unalterable realities. And those figures clearly show who is advancing women's basketball.
Here we have today, basically clapping back at all of that and proving that they know that they are the moment, they are the Showtime team, they are the biggest team currently in the WNBA. This kind of stuff is not only good for the Indiana Fever, it's good for the entire WNBA.
Last year, the Fever didn't merely pick Caitlin Clark and cross their fingers. They developed a whole organizational plan around her, demonstrating their deep understanding of a basic concept. Real dedication is required to support star power on and off the court. Angel Reese is the future, but the Chicago Sky don't seem to know what to do with her. Indiana has gone all in with a win-now mentality, making them just another player and marketing tool. Sophie Cunningham and other seasoned professionals have surrounding Clark. Natasha Howard and Dana Bonner. These are deliberate actions to establish an atmosphere in which Clark may succeed right away, not haphazard additions. Clark's game is hotter, flashier, and somehow even more dangerous, according to Cunningham, who even likened her to a young Diana Taurasi. That's not merely support from teammates, it's acknowledgement of true star power from someone who understands what it looks like. The Fever realized something important. It's not enough to draft a superstar. You also need to build around them.
I think anytime you play with the GOAT of our team, or the GOAT of our game, you're going to learn a lot. You have to be ready for the ball, head on a swivel at all times. And the way that she throws the ball is a lot how DT threw it. I think this is just the younger version of her, so she has a little bit more energy, a little bit more spunk. I miss DT in her prime, but it doesn't mean she wasn't great when I played with her. But honestly, at the end of the day, everybody can shoot, right? If you're cutting and you're open, you're going to get the ball. And so you just have to be ready for that. And I'm excited for that. And I think you'll see 1 through 5 is interchangeable. And so you'll see the 5 bring the ball down. So it's going to be a little different for other teams to play defense against us as well.
The disparity between the Fever and Sky organizations is exposed by this strategic approach. The Fever are aware that organizational dedication and on-court performance are necessary for true star power. Putting a player on billboards alone won't cause attendance to soar. Adding those successful veterans with up-and-coming stars can help you in games, build camaraderie, and create something that fans want to be a part of. Boston's Aaliyah, a flawlessly balanced roster, is produced by Lexi Hull and Kelsey Mitchell. Its goal is to compete right away, not only sell seats. The message is unambiguous. We won't wait 3 years to be good. Right now, we're aiming for victory. This is how you take advantage of momentum by providing supporters with more than just one player to cheer for. This stance contrasts sharply with Chicago's more submissive approach, with Reese unclear if the Sky will develop around her or treat her like any other participant. Regarding how Reese fits into their long-term objectives, there is no clear vision. No forceful attempts to surround her with talented people who complement her. It's what separates a franchise that has direction from one that is just responding.
Did Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese point at the ring finger back at LSU? Did Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese hop up off the bench like a member of Cobra Kai when Kennedy Carter cheap-shotted Caitlin? Does Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese complain about everything? She can't afford to pay her rent. She can't do this. She can't do that. A lot of whining. But then all of the narcissistic comments at the same time, and maybe she comes by it honest.
The dedication of the Fever goes beyond the roster. They have extended their marketing campaigns, modernized their facilities, and accepted their position as the WNBA's new flagship team. They are aware that optimizing Clark's influence necessitates an all-encompassing strategy that addresses every facet of the company. This is particularly noteworthy because of how swiftly everything occurred. Indiana went from being an afterthought to the WNBA's most talked-about club in less than a year. Lottery regulars gave way to must-see TV. It is not an accident that such a change occurs. It is accomplished by organizational alignment with a core vision and strategic strategy.
We're not here to chase greatness. We're here to claim it. Our ambitions don't fit into headlines or highlight reels. So if you thought we arrived,
2 more for Boston.
Now you know. We're not here for the moment. We're here for the takeover.
The Fever's method demonstrates that a winning combination is produced both on the court and at the box office when real star power and astute organizational strategy are combined. The two cannot be separated. Successful teams create environments where their stars may flourish rather than merely selecting them. While Reese finds it difficult to support her arguments with data, Clark and the Fever are demonstrating that when it comes to creating a basketball sensation, deeds speak louder than words. Clark doesn't have to explain to others that she's attractive. That truth has been the foundation of the Fever's whole strategy, and the outcomes speak for themselves. There is no sharper contrast. While one athlete quietly changes a league, another discusses her influence. While one team is firmly committed to a defined vision, the other team appears unsure about their course. The players are not the only thing that differs. They focus on strategic thinking, organizational philosophy, and knowing what it takes to convert star power into long-term success.
For May the 17th in Indianapolis, Indiana, when the season is going to be kicked off with the Ali Frazier of our generation, Caitlin Clark hosting the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese. The Indiana Fever at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis.
At this time, the reality is evident. Caitlin Clark, who has hard data to support her, is genuinely revolutionizing women's basketball while Angel redodges inquiries about her influence. Record-breaking jersey sales, sold-out venues, and unheard-of TV coverage make it impossible to argue. The complete tale will be revealed in the 2025 season. As Clark plays in crowded NBA venues, his Fever will take over national television. We must, in the meantime, find a way to support such audacious statements with tangible outcomes. This teaches us a valuable lesson about life and sports. While some people boast about greatness, others just accomplish it quietly, allowing their influence to speak for itself. If you support Clark, leave a comment below that says baby goat over baby giraffe. To ensure that you never miss anything, like, subscribe, and enable all notifications. After you click the video on the screen, we'll meet you in the following.